Today we build an awesome Tuff mansion in our Minecraft city. We got a pretty cool city here, with a bunch of awesome builds. We got our new castle, our cathedral, and then another castle, because one just wasn't enough. But what we also have is a massive gap here, where we don't really have anything going on at all. And in the previous episode, we did build a hotel right next to this gap. You can see it there. But I think it's time that we build something pretty cool to fill that gap. So let's get started. We're also going to build some pretty nice gardens surrounding the hotel and the new mansion. So let's get started. I started off with the very base of the building using a bunch of, what are the smelty ones called? Blast furnaces, there we go. And some brick walls. And I was able to build this up until I had a pretty good foundation. With the foundation in place, I went ahead and got to work on some archways. You can see the pillars going up on either side. These pillars are going to frame our windows along with their archways. I took inspiration from this build on Pinterest, but I did change out most of the materials. And I also had to make a few tweaks as I wasn't quite happy with the position. But we put some lecterns in and continued to build up these pillars until we were ready to start on the windows. I'm always very 50-50 about building with brick. It's kind of a very noisy texture. I often choose to go for granite, but given I saw this on Pinterest, I decided to stick with the materials used in the inspiration. You can see here the archways for the windows, and I thought these looked pretty good. I then built in some white walls and extended the pillars up above the windows. Added some deep slate in, which kind of looks like drain pipes, and then I continued finishing the walls. And now you can see we got some lovely window arches. With our window arches looking wonderful, it was time to get to work on the next floor. Thankfully, the next floor was going to be mostly the same as the ground floor, and so I just copied and pasted it, and then made a few tweaks here and there. I wanted the windows to be a little bit smaller up above to match the Pinterest version, and after a few tweaks, I think I did a pretty good job. It's definitely quite different from the Pinterest one, just because I had no clue where to place anything, and I was sort of just freestyling. But I think it turned out pretty good. Although at the end of the episode, I'm going to change out all the materials to make it suit Thuldrum, which is the name of the city, a whole bunch better. And if you've ever wanted to watch someone absolutely fail with the glazed terracotta, here's a 8 times sped up video of exactly that. Why is it so difficult? Am I just bad at the game? Either way, it's a clock now. We don't have to worry about it. So the building was coming together, and it has a pretty snazzy clock. However, I had to do a little bit more to put a roof on it. I went for a slight alteration on the roof. We got these weird fellas. They almost look like fellas holding staffs, but not really. Also kind of look like the thing that holds the Eye of Sauron. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan. That's probably got a name. I don't know what it is. But now our building has a little bit of a roof. There is one big issue with this building at the moment though, which is all the windows are completely empty, and we can just see the terrain through it, which sort of makes it feel hollow. So after doing a little bit more on the roof, I went ahead and I put some floors in on the inside, which sort of darkens it, makes it feel more, more solid. It's kind of hard to explain, but there we go. And with that, the build was looking pretty much finished. I added a bit of lighting, but I just wasn't quite happy with it. It's nice and bright, and the colour scheme's pretty cool. But I invited one of my favourite building consultants, Mr. Struppy, who's actually a notorious Viking. Real problem for the city, actually. And he came and took a look at it, and we agreed on a new colour palette for the building. When I say we agreed, he suggested stone brick. I misunderstood, thought he meant Tuff, and then I just sort of went with it. So we'll never know if his suggestion was better. I could try it. I don't know, I've already rendered the video though, it's a bit late. And, I'm voiceovering it, so I think we just sort of passed the point of no return on that. But I'm sure it would have looked great in stone brick. We got Tuff instead. Anyway, I did promise a little bit of a change to the gardens, so I went ahead and got to work on that. I cleaned up the walls, widened the roads, and then I put in a lovely set of grass blocks for a flower bed. You can see me also placing in some trapdoors to line the grass blocks. And there we go, there's the grass. And I built up a nice repeatable design for the walls. Once I had a good repeatable design, I copied and pasted it. I did the Control-C, Control-V thing. You know what I'm on about. There we go. Boom. We got a nice, wonderful wall closing off these fancy properties from the streets below. And then once the walls were in, I chucked some flowers down. Here we go. There we go. I went for a nice sort of gradient with these flowers. We got the red peonies and red roses in the middle, and then we go out with peonies and lilacs, so we get more purple as we go out. No, we don't. We get lighter. We go closer to white as we go further out. But yeah, that's a pretty nice wall. And with some trees, that's going to make a pretty nice garden. I do wish I removed those trees earlier, because getting good camera angles around them in the previous episode was really difficult. So if I'd done the garden first, it just would have been way easier for everyone. Either way, pretty cool garden. And speaking of things that are pretty cool, mornings. They're kind of cool, I guess. And do you know what would make this morning even better? Probably a quote, right? Here we go. Don't be pushed around by... No, that's yesterday's quote. I need to edit in a new one. One sec. Okay, boom. Here we go. New quote. It's from Vincent. Main man Vincent. He was in an episode of Doctor Who.